In this video, we will be reviewing the preliminary cockpit preparation. Follow along with your FCOM, which will be highlighted on the right-hand side of this video. As a general overview, the preliminary cockpit preparation must be accomplished prior to beginning the cockpit preparation or the exterior inspection. The first officer normally accomplishes the preliminary cockpit preparation, but the captain may perform it when necessary. Throughout this section, items marked by asterisks are the only ones to be completed after a transit stop without flight crew change. Otherwise, the new flight crew performs all the items. The first part of the preliminary cockpit preparation is the aircraft setup. As a warning, do not pressurize the hydraulic systems until clearance is obtained by ground personnel. The first panel we will see is the engine panel. Verify the engine 1 and 2 master levers are in the off position. Verify the engine mode selector is in the normal position. The weather radar panel will vary from aircraft to aircraft. In this video, we are highlighting the one for 605 November Kilo. Verify the radar switch is in the off position, the PWS switch is in the off position, the gain knob is auto or calibrated, and the mode selector as required. We will then move to the landing gear lever, making sure the landing gear lever is in the down position. Next, we will move to the overhead panel. At the bottom of the overhead panel, making sure both wiper selectors are in the off position. Next, we will flow up the overhead panel to the electrical panel. This will allow us to do the battery check and introduce external power to the aircraft. Before selecting the battery push buttons to the auto position, make sure that they are off and verify that the voltage is above 25.5 volts. Once you've done so, you may select battery 1 and 2 push button switches to the auto position, then select external power push button switch to on. Please review the expanded for additional details. Next, we can accomplish the APU fire test. The APU fire test is accomplished by making sure primarily the APU fire push button switch is in and guarded, APU agent light is off, then we press and hold the APU fire test push button. We should observe the following indications if AC power is introduced to the aircraft. The APU fire warning will appear on the ECAM, accompanied by continuous repetitive chime, the master warning light, and on the APU fire panel, making sure the APU fire push button switch is red and the squib light and discharge light are on. The next part of the flow is to consider starting the APU. The APU normally is started 10 minutes prior to departure unless external power is not available or if any other condition requires its use. Next, we will go to the air conditioning panel. At this point, consider whether or not you are going to use APU bleed if the APU was previously turned on. As a general recommendation, wait 3 minutes after the APU has started in order to use APU bleed. Verify all white lights are off, the cross bleed selector is auto, and the cockpit temperature rotary selectors and cabin rotary selectors are as required. The cargo heat panel is normally not installed in Spirit aircraft. If so, verify the temperature selector is as required. Next, we will go to the ADIRS panel in order to initialize the ADIRS. Select all IR mode selectors to the nav position. Please make sure to review the conditions upon which to do a full alignment or a quick alignment. Next, we will set the cockpit lights as required. Before the walkaround, we will verify the ECAM pages. Push and hold the recall push button for 3 seconds. This action will recall all the warnings that the flight crew may have inhibited with the emergency cancel push button. On the door SD page, verify the oxygen pressure. On the hydraulic SD page, verify the reservoir fluid level. On the engine SD page, check the oil quantity. The A320 Classic will need 11 quarts plus the estimated consumption calculated at 0.3 quarts per hour. Next, we will check the flaps and speed brakes. Check the flap position corresponds with the upper ECAM display. Also, verify that the speed brake lever is retracted and disarmed. If the flight control surface positions do not agree with the control handle positions, check with the maintenance crew before applying hydraulic power. Now we will set the parking brake. First, verify the accumulator pressure. It should be in the green band. Otherwise, you may use the yellow electric pump to recharge the brake accumulator. Set the parking brake handle to the on position. Check for normal indications on the brake pressure indicator. Prior to leaving the flight deck, verify that all of the emergency equipment, checklists, and manuals are on board. Behind the captain's seat, you will find the rain repellent. Verify the pressure and quantity are correct for the rain repellent. Verify the rear and overhead circuit breaker panels. For those aircraft equipped with Wi-Fi, verify the broadband switch is in the on position. Last but not least, before exiting the flight deck, make sure you accomplish a cockpit door test. Here is a video describing how a cockpit door test is made.
Go.
Right. In order to do the cockpit door test, first thing that we're going to do is check the annunciator lights. Put the annunciator light to the test position. We're going to look for the 3 strikes and the open fault light to be illuminated. After that, we're going to check the door itself. Put the annunciator lights back to bright, close the door, then open it by using the unlock mechanism. We can close the door again after we make sure the open light is illuminated, and open it by using the manual mechanism. Open light should be illuminated again. Upon completion of the preliminary cockpit preparation, an exterior inspection is accomplished.